when the first one was announced, I was a mess. But I needed to get out of this really bad kind of habit that I had with working because it wasn't healthy. Also, I wanted to move things further in my relationship with my partner, Emily. And
Hello, Emily.
I think she's upstairs at the moment. But no, I mid lockdown, I moved in with her. I made that difficult decision to move out of my first place that I could call my own and that I became very comfortable in. It Life just slowed down so much, and I didn't focus on having the most up to date phone anymore or whatever. Like just going outside and hearing the birds tweet, just sitting on my doorstep, socially distanced with my neighbours, having a glass of Guinness, just random things, but the simplest of things I appreciated so much. And then it kind of forced me to make a good decision to make that scary step, but that leap into something more with Emily as well, which has created our life.
Well, can I mention that? Because, I mean, when you first move in with your partner, it's scary, but you always think, well, if it flops, I can go out. But when you're moving in with someone and you're locked in with them, that's a very big step because you're thinking, well, I can't go anywhere else now.
No, it was a very big step, but when I say we are like the same person, it's quite just some of the weirdest things you'd expect someone to come out with, and then at the same time. But we've always been very open and honest. Emily's got similar struggles to myself, but we talk about that, and we always have a debrief. Like in the evenings, we sit down, debrief about the day, what you're stressed about, because that's important. But for both of our mental health and well-being, it's something that keeps chatting, keeps a conversation, puts us both on each other's level, so it doesn't get to that point. Yes,
that's so important. Yeah, I was about to say, Kev, I spent years not talking to my wife about anything. Probably not for fear of her leaving me, but for fear of her thinking bad of me when she wouldn't, it wouldn't have been possible. But I think men keep so much back from their partners, it's unreal, and we do really need to start speaking out and talking to them more so they have an understanding. So, you've got off definitely on the right foot there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll annoy her till I probably annoy her more than I think I do. And
I guarantee it's definitely like my relationship.
And she gets on my nerves too, but that's just reality at the end of the day. But no, she's always by my side. She's helped me out a lot. I've got a lot of medical conditions. I just Christmas Eve, no, it's the 23rd, but I got blue lighted into hospital. I had a couple of seizures. I've got a large cyst attached to the nerves of my brain, so I get quite a lot of migraines along with diabetes and getting headaches for ages. And she woke up in the middle of the night. She knows that I don't like ambulances being called, but she made that decision. She was there by my side. She got me out. She looked after me, and she is my rock. And I think that communication kind of strengthens that bond between us both. And if anything, as well, lockdown kind of realised that people weren't with the right person.
Yeah.
What did I really like? Divorce lawyers were having a field day. That was the Daily Stars. Probably not the best newspaper to quote there, but yeah, statistics rose quite a bit. But I think it put the focus on actually what makes a true relationship as well. Might seem a bit corny, but
isn't it funny, Joe? Like, how old are you now? Sorry,
23.
23, and like when you start on your journey at 13, who'd have thought this was possible? Because me being 37 now, I've been with my Kate 9 years. I've got a 5-year-old daughter. If you'd have talked to me when I was 13, 15, I'd have thought, who wants me? And and you go through these different journeys. You, when you're a superstar with 100,000 friends, but then you think, that they want me for the wrong reasons, and now you're at peace with yourself. Now you can accept someone else's love. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's mad, and it took a lot. Like, I was single for so long. Like, I worked in a club in Northampton before lockdown, and I met so many people, but I was still very inside myself. But the friendship group that
I can totally relate to that. Sorry, Joe. Just you saying that, then the way you're feeling. Similar sort of thing. I used to speak to a lot. Go out on a lot of dates, maybe 2-3 dates, but I think I could never get past the point of, I don't want them to find out the real me, and then that's it now. Meet the next one, it's just when you confide in, and I think what you were saying about your other half, definitely the same as mine. One day I can be running around the kitchen, laughing, singing. 20, 30 minutes later, I'm on the settee. It's finding someone who you can feel comfortable to open up to around that way.
Yeah, definitely. It's life has a funny. I don't want to be one of these corny people that says everything happens for a reason, because it's the one phrase that does my head in. But at the same time, it's like, well, it's kind of true. I don't want to admit it, but I will admit it. Everyone goes through different things, and I had to throw myself into some very hard situations to kind of teach myself how to not be autistic. Don't want that to sound how that may sound, but I'm meaning the social anxiety, the communication issues. I had to get myself in the mindset where I wanted to not be classed as different.
Yeah.
Well, I would be classed as different, but not just. I wanted to have the same opportunities, and I think if you can change that mindset, it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. I'm still, every day I'm learning new things about myself. I'm having the same doubts about myself, and I'm beating myself up. But once you can get into that mindset, think about your struggles, but think about why you struggled and how can you change that into a positive, and it has a rippling effect.
Yeah, well, it's like you just said. It's like you just said with the anxiety thing in the job I do. I'm a barber. People, when I say to them, I've got social anxiety. I've had people laugh before because they're saying, "How can you stand there in front of 20 people with a queue behind you?" But I said, in my version, I feel like I'm in a box there. I feel like there's eyes all over me, and people are like, "Well, why do you do the job you do?" And it's not because I don't like the job. It's just pressures of everyday life, just different anxieties. And
that was the same with me. Like, in Northampton, like before lockdown, I was still working in the club. I didn't realise I applied for this job either. It was complete out of the blue, and I got a phone call, and I was like, "Do you know what? Sorry for the language, but I thought I was going to shit myself. Like, I was so scared, and I walked in there, and I met, like, they were my first friends. Like, the bloke I worked with called Tino, his girlfriend, and then we had a group of us, 5 of us, and they all taught me so much. I was kind of accepted in as this little weird kid because I was very, like, in my box, but it was the best thing I did. Like, when people said, "Oh, you seem so comfortable in your own skin," or whatever, like, I wasn't, but it was these different things that I was doing for myself, and I think that's one of the best things anyone can do for your own self-gain. Not self-gain,
self-worth,
your own self-production, I guess. Things are hard for everyone, but you've got to push yourself, especially after all of this. Everyone's going to be struggling with opportunities and whatnot. Do something different. You learn new things every day. Just got to have that self-belief as well, and try and turn off that inner critic that is constantly shouting.
I think as a child, you want to be normal. As an adult, you want to be extraordinary.
Yeah, and even as a teen, I wanted all the money in the world and live like a rich life and live comfortably. But I don't pay myself for anything I do. I have my one paid job. Everything else comes out of my pocket. Because for me, the thing that's worth more, yes, keeping a roof over our heads and my heads, but it's not the materialistic things, but the kindness bit. I get so much good feeling just knowing that I might have helped someone. When I get a message through, and I had a message from a lady the other day, like whose daughter followed my page, and it doesn't take much. There's more to money. There's more to these things that people aspire to. Like it's literally just as simple as being kind and just having a nice impact on someone's life and just making a difference. Like it doesn't take much. It might sound confusing, all the things that I might have done and like, oh, how have you done this? But it wasn't rocket science, to be fair. I've not done that much compared to what a lot of other people have. I've just spoken out, and we all need to get speaking, which is why what you guys do is great. Like you're having a ripple effect on so many people who will be struggling.
I feel I'm a good few years older than you, and I feel a few years behind you. Since
Not at all.
13, you've been a busy boy.
Always like that, yeah.
Well, could you tell us about the charity that you're doing at the moment, please, Joe?
Yeah, so Stand Out is a charity that I co-founded with 5 other people, and that's because of the care system and the lack of support for not only looked after children in care, but also care leavers as well. So if I give you a bit of a background, in leaving care, it used to be when you reached 21, you'd lose your PA, lose your support, and basically be given your bags and be like, yeah, right, that's fine. It's cheaper, easier for us, just go. There was a big, a lot of care leavers came together to get that changed to 25, but there's still issues within that, because it was kind of like, yeah, right, we won't call you or whatever with support, you can just call us and we'll just keep you open until you're 25. That's basically when someone's struggling, you expect them to pick up the phone. It's not that easy. No. So we started it from a very young age. Again, I think I was 15. I got an award for the work I did with the children care forums and the care leavers forums. And I always said, why not? Yes, we've got social services, but why not just run it in a charitable way? Why can't we just have a charity which we can get donations and join partnerships to really make a difference? So Stand Out became a charity last year, and we provide just some more resources and tools and implement mental health into a lot of these. So we're still trying to find partnerships at the moment because we're still very new, and with lockdown, unfortunately, with this whole fiasco, it's been less than a year since we've had our charity number. It's not been great timing, but the partnerships that we can create will give people a better chance from the care system to live a successfully independent life, and to give them the tools they need to feel good about themselves, but move forward in the life without just being given a bin bag or just being chucked out, because it feels so rubbish. Like, yes, like I said earlier, my situation is different. Yes, I know I was in care, but I wasn't in care for the same reasons many were. Many don't have anyone to talk to. Many have just been having people in and out of their lives. It feels like they don't want to be known, like they're the problem. So that we needed to do something to try and stop that. And hopefully this won't just be something that's in Northampton, hopefully we can